Welcome to the Four Winds Beer Club, December 2024. Thanks for joining us. Brent, grab the box. Let's see what we got today.
Let's do it. Hopefully you guys all got this in the mail. This came in just last night.
And we're recording from the Four Winds Barrel Room in Delta, BC, Canada.
A little bit different than what we normally would do, the live tasting, but we figured the date would line up on Boxing Day. Not a lot of people want to leave their families or go hide in a closet to drink beer on the internet. So here we are. What do we got?
Let's see. Four Winds Beer Club. That's how you scan the QR to find this broadcast and to tune in and see what this beer box is all about.
Cool. So, for those who don't know, to my left is Jules Dabous, our head brewer.
Nice to meet you.
And Jared Whalen, next to Adam, who's our production manager.
Okay, let's see that bad boy. Nice. It's a nice tube. That is a good tube. Who's wearing it? I think that was. Is that you, Jules? Yeah, there you go, man.
Nice. Try. Oh, nice. It's a new logo.
There's a lot of.
Let's see.
There's a lot of peanuts in here.
Nice. What do we got here? Edmona Sour Foeder Blend, 7%. Is that from one of these foeders?
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Can you explain this beer to us?
Of course.
Jules?
Yeah. It's a blend. It's a saison mixed culture sour blend. So yeah, it's what's the name? Pomona, sorry guys. Pomona and Edna together.
Oh, it's a blend of Pomona.
It's a blend.
Edna.
It's a 50% Pomona and 50% Edna.
Nice.
Edna is in our foeder for a little bit, and it's extremely complex, but also too strong to be by itself, too sour, too acidic. Too complex. So it's a really beer that we're using for blending, and it's working. It's adding complexity to blends, and it's an amazing tool for blending in general.
Okay. Awesome.
And this combination of these two beers, the fruitiness from Pomona and the complexity, the fun complexity and acidity from Enna, make this blend really cool, really interesting.
Good stuff.
I'm digging in here.
There's a lot of beer in here. So what are we tasting today?
I think we're gonna do. I'm not gonna pull everything out because there's a lot, but we're gonna do Europa, which is our dark German lager or Schwarzbier. We're gonna do a collab from the Beach House with Powell Brewing, which is our historical Dunkelweizen. We're gonna do a couple double IPAs, not just one but two.
Woo. Good thing it's Friday.
And also the beer Jules just talked about, which I'm looking for. What am I looking for? I think that's
you're just having fun digging.
That was the first one that came out of it.
All right.
So let's
Should we dig in?
let's say goodbye. Nocturus. We decided we're not going to try it today, but I know you guys all got a couple cans in there. Pretty cool one. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Archetype. We did a tasting last tasting, which is still one of our favorites, but we're going to leave that for another time. So
Rainshadow.
we're going to do Rainshadow. Well, we're going to start with Europa.
Nice.
And then we're going to go to Dunkelweizen. And then we're going to go to Edmona. Then Gloomless. And finish with the Rainshadow.
Beauty.
So let's do this.
Let's get into that Europa. And we'll start with a little cheers and, just talk for a moment about the triumphs and challenges of 2024. It's coming to a close. I guess by the time folks tune into this, it'll be between Christmas and New Year's or sometimes later. Thank you. Cheers. Everybody, it's been a wild year.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To 2024.
2024.
And to 2025.
So 2024 was a crazy year for us because we were up to a lot of things, and one of those things was opening a new business, which was an unbelievable undertaking in many ways, and doing it at a time when the industry has its challenges for sure. I mean, there's talk of recession, and so it's been a wild year, but it's been really fun as well. And so far, the start of the beach house has been really, really great. So cheers to starting a second business and a crazy time to do it. Jules, how dare you? How dare you?
Guys, cheers.
Just kidding, cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Our business went from about 45 employees to 120.
To 120, and then moving into the slow season, probably back down to 100.
Around 100, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Pretty
that's
crazy.
huge.
Yeah.
It's a big
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have some amazing, upper management sitting here with us today. Thank you guys for holding down this brewery as Brent and I pursued this crazy dream. So thank you. Cheers.
Oh,
Cheers, thanks.
Yeah.
Happy to be part of it.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Europa. This is a beer that we brewed Schwartzer twice over the last 6 years. Would you say?
I
Or was it
remember.
just once.
I remember one, but I think it was. I think the second one that I was part of was the second one. I think there was one before that. So yeah, you might remember better than I do.
I think it was twice, but
Yeah.
not very regularly.
This was based off of that original Schwartz beer recipe, or is it all new?
We thought about doing that, and
Okay.
in the end, we gave the project to Alex and Nick.
Oh, that's
and
fun.
This is an
Yeah.
Alex and Nick beer.
Cool.
Yeah.
Turned out great.
So yeah, it's Nick is a lead brewer in our team, and Alex is the lead seller, and they work on this recipe and on this project with the different German malt, and their idea was really interesting, and we were really stimulated to see this beer. Their lagering process was a little bit different than what we do, so it was interesting to see another technique. And turned out super interesting, super subtle and complex. One of the first thing I liked with this beer is this color. It's like a dark ruby almost.
Yeah.
It's really appealing to me. I'm not sure why. This reddish color.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It reminds me a little bit of the UK dark mild or brown ale, just this almost reddish coloration, but it's really appealing visually to me.
Yeah.
And on the nose, it's really chocolatey, a little bit of yeast profile.
I think I like it even more than it did when we first released it. I don't know if it's conditioned in the can a little bit, but it tastes a little bit cleaner to me. And
Yeah.
so when everybody's watching this in 3 weeks, it'll be even better.
My favorite experience with this is off of the side pull though on tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
It's adding.
Yeah. So Brent, what's the difference? Explain that to me, I guess, and everybody else. But what makes it change? For me, the mouthfeel changes dramatically.
We're talking about
When you
pouring
have-
beer with the Lucre tap.
Yeah, compared to out of a can. What happens in that process?
There's a lot of things. I think draft beer, particularly, I think is a more suitable environment to have the most anticipated or expected mouthfeel from a beer. When you package something in a can or a bottle, it goes through hell before it goes in there, and it's sealed in.
Right.
Draft and kegs are the lowest intervention.
Right. Yeah.
And I think a Lucre tap is kind of an extension on that, where it's softly allowing the beer to exit the keg into a glass.
Yeah.
But
It's respecting the liquid along the
it's
way.
respecting it a lot more. And the Lucre tap is designed with the ball valve. So rather than a regular Perlick or a regular draft tap, which is a plunger valve, not too different from what you find in a toilet.
Wow, romantic.
What a diss. But the ball valve is smooth. It's like a ball with a hole in it, and you can control how much you're opening the tap, so you can control the flow that way, but also control the amount of foam you're creating.
Yeah.
And as they teach you at Lucre and how to use these taps, you want to create perfect, silky, consistent foam first, and then put the tap underneath it and fill the beer from there. So you're creating like the crema like you would
Yeah.
in an espresso or the froth of a latte before filling it up with clear beer and like
Protecting the liquid.
protecting it
underneath,
with the cap. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like just hard to like have anything at that level afterwards. Like there's no like step up as far as I've experienced, and getting to that point it's hard to do
That's true.
without those taps.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
For those who haven't been to Beach House, we invested heavily in our draft system, and we have 16 Lucre taps. So all of our beers are poured in that fashion. And so, yeah, we're very intense about foam. Our slogan is "Free the foam." We want to free the foam out of that beer so that you can taste it and drink it.
Yeah. And that foam is beer too. Like there's a
100%.
misconception that foam isn't beer and it's going to dissipate, but that foam just turns into beer.
Yeah.
It's liquid beer.
And
I
that
mean,
foam
it's-
was beer before it became foam.
Yeah.
It's one and the same.
Yeah.
Foam was beer. Foam is beer. Foam will be beer.
Foam is always beer.
Foam is beer.
That's funny. It
Nice.
could be a nice slogan on a t-shirt,
Yeah.
like a little bit long sentence, but could be fun.
Next merch.
We're the only four that would buy it.
Foam was beer. Foam is beer. Foam will be beer. Nice.
That was pretty good.
That is good.
But yeah, this turned out great. It's
I like
nice
it.
to have some more dark beers.
I would say dark beers are like definitely more popular than they have been, which still is like 2% of the beer that's sold in the world, but or whatever the heck it is. It's still like a super small niche segment of the market, but it's more popular than it was in the last few years.
Feels like this year we had a lot more demand for dark beer,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a good feeling.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the most we've made in
A few years,
yeah,
ever.
maybe ever. Yeah.
Like porter, every year we have this dilemma.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do. Explain the dilemma. Like Jared, maybe
Jared,
you can.
explain the dilemma.
Yeah.
Oh, we just, I think like over the past few years, we saw porter start to dip. It was a beer that we did, it was seasonal, right? Like at first, like
Yeah.
it was all winter, like from September to March, and then,
Yeah.
or even beyond sometimes. And then, but it just started to dip, especially after Christmas, New Year's time. So we decided to make it more of a,
It would fall off a cliff after,
Yeah,
after
yeah.
New Year's. Yeah.
yeah, even like sooner than that sometimes.
Yeah.
And so we decided to do less. But every year there was a tipping point where it was like, should we make one more? And where everything said no, we said yes, and we would make one more, and we would end up with too many cans left, too much draft left.
Yeah.
And so this year we decided to try something totally different and put it in a tall can, 473 milliliter size, and it seems to be doing really well. And it was very promising, like it was selling seemingly faster than before. And then we made a second one, and that was going to be it. And then when the time came, we just thought, should we do another one? And where the past 5 years said no, we said yes again, and just packaged it yesterday.
But
Yeah.
there were some factors that helped us with that decision.
Yeah, and I think this time we really are confident that it's gonna.
Yeah.
good.
Sometimes what happens is that
Yeah.
we say yes to that third batch or
Yeah.
second batch or whatever, and it winds up lasting
Till
10 months.
June. Yeah.
Yeah,
But surprisingly, porter just stays really nice for.
Oh, it ages beautifully,
It
yeah.
ages very well, yeah.
So
And when we say another one, sorry, Brent, just to give the viewers context, like that's a 5,000 liter batch. So
Yeah.
another 5,000 liter batch. So we usually brew, I don't know,
about
10,000,
10,000, but this year 15.
15 or so. So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the factors are, I think, the going in a 4-pack tall can. That's
Yeah.
something new for the market,
Yeah.
and I think it's seemingly more desirable than a 6-pack small can.
Yeah.
I don't know, hard to say,
It's so hard to know, but yeah,
but
for sure.
And
It
then the other
seems like it.
factor, it was awarded a gold medal at the BC Brewing Awards, which
Yeah.
which isn't always incorporated or turns directly into sales performance, but it doesn't hurt.
But maybe for like a niche beer like that, where the people what's the word? Looking for it,
Yeah.
are kind of in the know.
Yeah.
So
It's
maybe
true.
maybe they would. I don't know.
Yeah, people that like porters
Yeah,
and it wins a gold, they're gonna search for it and
Yeah.
buy it more than once.
I think so. Yeah.
I drink 3 glasses a week at the Marple Curling Club as well, so
Oh,
it's
you're doing your
nice.
part. I love that.
How's it taste there?
really good.
Nice.
Well,
That's awesome.
I have a question. So speaking about like what people are after, and what consumers desire, like what are your guys' thoughts on what are the current trends? What are the next trends looking towards 2025? Like what are people looking for?
I think on my side, I think people want extreme, so extreme low, extreme high, extreme pineapple, extreme whatever we can say. I think that's it's going to be an extreme year. Extreme low, extreme high, extreme emphasizing on one ingredient to the extreme point. I think
Right.
that's the future.
That's a good take. I like that.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I was gonna say I have no idea what people want, but
Yeah.
that makes sense to me. Like what we've seen historically, or at least over the last year, is that low ABV beers do well, high ABV beers do well, highly fruited beers do well,
Yeah.
unique new things do pretty well. So
At the same time as that, I think you're totally right. But it's so weird because like there's so many different aspects to the market. Because yes, you're right. They want non-alcoholic beers, low alcoholic beers, and like 10% beers. And but they don't want the stuff right in the middle. But then, but there's also this like resurgence of just really well-made lagers, like
Yeah.
just back to like beer, like traditional
so
beer.
nice.
And
Yeah.
that's a nice thing. We love seeing that. Yeah.
Same.
I think I'm at the same point. Like, right? I feel I agree, but I kind of hope that like underneath that all it means that like people aren't only just like looking for extreme, but they're into like drinking something that's like somebody's putting their full effort into one aspect or some concept in general.
Yeah.
So maybe eventually, like, if we put all of our effort into making the best Czech pale lager at the beach house, like that's what people will want eventually. I'd like to believe that's what's
I
going to happen.
want to believe that too.
Yeah, I want to believe that.
Yeah.
I refuse not to believe that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's really interesting. I think we had a conversation in the lab, Jaren and I, this week actually. We were talking about trend, and we were talking about how we think, let's say we know lager trend is coming back, and it's gonna come back even more, but we don't know when. It can take 20 years, can take 2 years, and that's what we try to predict as a brewery. It's when the next thing's gonna be a little bit trendy. It's not necessarily mean like we are a trendy brewery, but it's mean more like it will have an impact on, let's say, there is like a trend back, really high trend on German Pilsner. That will definitely have an impact on our production, and it will be good for Earth Gold, for example.
yeah.
So the thing is, we don't know it's when. We can see trends like low ABV or high ABV lagers, but we don't know when they are going to be really implemented in our society. I don't know if am I clear. That was the idea.
You just got interrupted pretty big time. Calm down, guys.
What's going on over there, birds?
Are having a little bit of an issue with a few birds that won't get out of here. We're doing our best.
The Four Winds Barrel Room is in the Amazon jungle.
Yeah. It's totally true.
Yeah.
Well, should we crack another beer?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
What are we getting into?
Okay, we got.
We need more than one of those.
Yeah, there's one down here.
Oh, nice.
Don't worry. All right. Beach House and Friends.
This is our new, so at the Four Winds Beach House and Brewery, we're doing things a little different with our branding, and we thought that to differentiate from the regular stuff we do, and we thought that it would be very cool to introduce a collaborative series that has the same kind of aesthetic, maybe different color palette, and obviously different collaborators, but it's Beach House and Friends. So the first one we wanted to do, this was I think Brent's idea, but was to revisit the first collab we ever did as a brewery, and that was back in 2013. And this is a 2024 version of that collaboration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, good little story about when we first made. You guys all know the story, but I'll tell it again. We first shyly asked a peer of ours, David Poquet of Powell Street Brewing at the time, now Powell Brewery, pardon me. Who
Did you just pronounce his last name with P?
I said Boquet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Boquet. I don't know. I don't even know him actually.
Yeah.
You guys met him before? Anyways,
Who had just won Beer of the Year at the
Yes,
time? Canadian
with Old
Brewing
Jalopy?
for Old Jalopy at the
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
so
that's-
it was like, man, he was the man.
yeah, he was the man.
Yeah, he still is.
He came by the brewery on his way to go to Country Malt to pick up some malts and introduce himself, and we had a beer and showed him around and exchanged mutual respects. And I asked him if he wanted to maybe make a beer one day, and I was like asking a girl out on a date kind of feeling inside, which was like so funny. And he was like, yeah, I think so. And I don't think he ever did a collab before that. He was
No.
only open for
6 months, maybe.
9 months, yeah.
Maybe 9, yeah.
And we decided on this obscure style, which I can't even count on. I can't even fill a hand with how many Dunkelweizens I've seen brewed in BC since then.
Right.
I can't even think of another one, to be honest. So yeah, we brewed one back then, and we went to the extreme. We spent a lot of time designing the recipe, little like 2 homebrew mentality with like 9 malts in there. We decided not to use any filtering aids in the water, so we had really long brew days, like 15-hour brew days. And the beer we bottle conditioned, but with the wort, pasteurized wort, so we like kreuzen the beer in the bottle. And it was amazing. I felt like the beer was amazing. Maybe it wasn't.
It was tasty. I liked it.
Yeah, but it was great. So when we opened Beach House, we've been wanting to remake this beer with David for a long time, and it felt like a good opportunity. So this is a little bit more refined, simplified, and we have this really beautiful yeast that we use for Halyard Hef at Beach House, which actually comes from Brassneck. So we decided to use that strain to make this beer, and such a balanced yeast for Hefeweizen.
Yeah.
And some dark malts, gives it a little more like chocolatiness. Just beautiful. Surprised
It's nice.
how much people love this beer. It's just like a weird one, but
I
really
can
good.
I can count on one finger how many times I've had a Dunkelweizen, and it's this one.
Is this one?
Nice.
And when I tried it, you gave me a can, like when you were leaving one day
Yeah.
to go home, and I was sitting at my desk and tried it, and I remember thinking like this is like a totally new experience for me. Like I had wheat beers, dark beers, and like I never had anything like this before, and I don't know. I was thinking about it like that night when I went home, and the morning when I woke up, and then.
What would you say like the
yeah.
biggest difference between like a Schwartz beer and a Dunkelweizen is in your assessment of, because you're saying you've never had an experience like that, we're going from this to that. Some people might think it's similar, but like what's the difference?
I don't know if I can answer that like from an brewing standpoint, because I wasn't part of either of these too much, but like from my feeling, it's like I don't know, it gives me everything, like the sort of banana like aroma that I really like in a wheat beer.
Yeah.
And like it's smooth and like creamy and a little bit sweet, but it is a little bit more complex, and like I feel like there's a little more to dig into.
Yeah.
Like with like I find like a pale lager versus a dark lager or something like that. It's just like very unique to me, which is why I find it so interesting.
It is unique, yeah.
The way the yeast like plays with the dark malts, it's like banana bready, like
Yeah.
chocolatey banana bread. It's like just such a lovely little tidbit.
I remember this like when we did that collaboration with David at Powell Street in 2013. I remember an Instagram comment that was so funny to me. I don't know why.
You remember?
It sticks out in my mind.
Nice.
Just because I think we described the flavor profile as like banana and all kinds of other things, and somebody must have had like hates banana or something like that, and the comment was "banono," like banana's a no-no in beer. And to me, I was like, wait a second, like banana flavor is a no-no in beer? Like, what are you trying to say?
I don't remember. That's so funny.
It was so good.
Banana.
I think about that like once a year.
2013, there's a lot more purists out there expressing themselves. Beer's been
More quiet.
put through the ringer. You can do anything now, and
Yeah.
critics keep their mouth shut because they're like, oh, that's good. But no.
Yeah.
It might have been because I think we actually made a cask with bananas in it.
Maybe. That's a total banana.
but I don't know if we actually did that.
I don't know, actually. Anyway,
That would be a
if we did, it would have been a real big banana. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I think one cool thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we did a single decoction on this one.
Oh yeah, we did.
Single decoction, and we use a dark malt post-lauter,
Post
no.
decoction.
post decoction. So in the lauter tun, and it was going to the kettle. So we pour our cold or hot steep of malt, I think, into the lauter just before the decoction. And I really like what to answer a little bit what you were asking, Jared. I think one really different aspect from these two beers is the yeast.
Yeah.
The yeast emphasize on the Dunkelweizen and compared to a dark lager, German inspired. I think the yeast inspiration, it's really cool. The blend of phenols, banana, and also the combination with the dark malt and like the crystal malt, make almost like a dessert beer without being like super sweet, extra sweet like a pastry stout. So to me, it's like I want to drink it because I have a sweet tooth, but it's not too much to me. I like that.
I do too.
Almost like savory,
Yeah.
but not savory. Tasty, like I want to eat. I want to eat a piece of cake after that, or combine with this.
What would you pair that with?
Oh, that's a good
That's a
question.
good question.
I don't know.
I've never thought of that
Cheesecake?
in my life. That's a good call.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it would have to be something sweet.
I think in the food pairing,
Or
you have-
cheese itself, maybe certain cheeses.
You have two directions, two approach. One approach is to emphasize the key element of the beer or the wine or whatever. So for example, this one would be banana, so like a banana split or dessert with banana.
Yeah.
So that's one approach. Or another approach is the antipode, so the opposite
Yeah.
food and I don't know, or flavor, like something.
What's
like-
the opposite of banana?
I don't know, or something
Banana.
completely. No. Yeah, something completely different than banana. So I don't know. I'm not really a food pairing person, but for example, for hot
Cheese fondue.
cheese fondue.
That would work, I think.
Yeah. That'd be good. Like
Raclette?
a neutral, like like a raclette with like bread and like a few like veggies, like broccoli, maybe
Yeah.
some grapes.
Yeah. We're gonna have a
Dude,
raclette.
next time we do this, we gotta have a little
Jared and
snack.
I
We should have fondue.
will experiment.
Fun bread.
You take one with you. You guys are doing raclette later. You gonna take one?
Yeah, we're gonna try tonight.
Nice.
See if it's
You
working.
doing a fondue?
Raclette tonight with Jared.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very fun.
What's a raclette? I don't understand.
Raclette, it's a cheese melting cheese party.
It's kind of like fondue, but
And I'm not invited?
Every year, actually, I do a couple of them, but
So I'm not invited year after year?
I didn't know you went to cheese.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're melting.
I love
high
cheese.
melt, high roast. So the idea is to have your cheese melted and almost burning.
You
a
almost
little bit.
like broil it.
And
Oh, okay.
broil it, yeah.
nice.
And you put that on the. So the way, I'm not saying this is the way, I'm saying the way I learned how to eat raclette, it's really simple. Melted cheese, potatoes, and how do you say, salami, ham, how do you call that?
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie. I think one day you teach me another word for that, but deli?
I was gonna say cold
Deli
cuts,
meats?
but that's not.
But it's not, I don't know, charcuterie,
No,
that's a
charcuterie is the
word.
right word.
Yeah, everyone knows what that is.
And cornichon. Cornichon, how do you say
pickles?
pickle, small
Yeah.
sour pickle.
Love a cornichon. Onions as well. The pickled onion.
We have usually
Yeah.
with the
What's the word for the pickled onion?
comment on dit en français? Petit oignon. A small onion, so petit oignon. I'm
That's it,
actually.
yeah. It's
I'm
okay.
not sure.
All right, guys, let's move on. We need to
Yeah.
keep things rolling. What are we
That's
tasting next?
Yeah, let's go on to Edmona, but I'm gonna pull up some fresh glasses here. But I'm gonna, on that note, I'm gonna talk a little bit about some Christmas traditions. Like we brought up we call it a gherkin,
Gherkin.
cornichon.
Cornichon. Yeah.
Yeah, gherkin. And that was something that we always had at Christmas was the pickled little pearl onions
Yeah.
and the gherkins. Cornichon.
Nice.
Whatever the word is. What's some of the like Christmas traditions you guys had growing up, food-wise?
My family, my mom's side at least, is Armenian. So it was mostly Armenian food, Armenian finger food, like little pastries, and Jules has had a lot as well. Like puff pastry, cheese,
Right.
like rice, cabbage rolls, that kind of stuff. That's what I think of.
That's Christmas.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know what you're gonna say. Oysters.
Yeah, oysters is part of this. Foie gras. Eating, basically my Christmas tradition in my family, it's eating a lot. And I think it's not only my family, I think it's every culture, my culture at least, we eat a lot. A lot of food, a lot of wine, beer as well. Now my family, since I'm into beers, I'm brewing beers. They are also learning a lot about beers, and they like it. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I think beer is always there in France, always been there, and especially in north of France. I think it's not necessarily. It's becoming more popular. But yeah, I think it's always been there. Like I remember my dad was drinking when I was 10. He was drinking Orval, that one of my favorite beer, and super Trappist ale conditioned with Brettanomyces. It's just super good. And he was drinking that like he was just drinking his Sunday beer after walking outside or something like that.
That's some boss shit right there. Just drinking Orval like it's a Sunday beer.
Yeah, so it's and he wasn't realizing.
It smells amazing.
So
Color is nice too.
Edmona. So which fooders? Which two?
So this guy and this guy.
Nice.
50-50.
So we're sitting amongst 7 of these fooders, and they're 4,000 liters each, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our heyday for Foeder produced beer was probably in the 15 to 17 range. When did we get
I
these?
think 2018 was our
I don't remember.
most produced.
Most produced 2018.
Yeah.
It is. You mentioned this the other day. It's like perfumey.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really nice.
Smells way funkier than it tastes. So it's interesting because I've had that Edna. So this batch of Edna we've had kind of in this foeder for almost 4 years, maybe.
I think it was 2021, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like there's like the soft cider apple in there,
Yeah.
a little bit of the fresh cranberry, but it's like also wild strawberries aroma. It's such an interesting beer.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the acidity is so high.
I almost get like as soon as you said wild strawberry, get like a bit of a green strawberry, like not ripe,
Oh,
not
yeah,
fully
yeah.
ripe.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, this is such a beautiful blend.
Maybe some rhubarb.
It's working super well together.
It's beautiful, man. Like
And-
do we have this? A lot of this? Like not this, but
We
in
could make
food-
this.
We could make
make
this.
We could make.
Tomorrow we can make
This is good.
a lot.
There'd be like 7 or 8 customers.
For like such a complex, like delicate, beautiful thing, I can feel like I can just like keep going.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it's drinkable.
I have a story about this blend. So I think few months ago we hired a new brewer. His name is Julio, he's passionate about wild fermentation, mixed fermentation, spontaneous fermentation, and I am passionate too, and Brent as well. But sometimes in a brewery, it's not I feel alone, but I feel like there is not a lot of people stimulated by that as much as I am,
Yeah.
and he is. So I show him a lot of things, how we do things, my experience. I'm not like I have so much to learn about this kind of subject, but I'm showing him, and he worked with me with the blend, and we tried a couple of different blend, and he did this experimentation, and I told him, oh yeah, that's it, we got it, that's a blend.
Nice.
Yeah, and so Julio did a lot of most of the work on this blend, and
Cool.
and it's a pleasure to talk about this kind of mixed culture sour because it's extremely complex product and alive, changing all the time,
Yes.
and to adapt to the beer. I think it's super spiritual, and I like that. The approach of us adapting to the beer and doing different changing of processes based on what's happening compared to the other way around. I just really like that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
That's philosophy, a beer maker philosophy. So beer is alive, and we just try to dance with it.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Cheers to that. Woo. Well said.
Cheers.
Cheers to the delicateness of this.
Yeah.
And how we're about to get destroyed by these double IPAs after this.
How refined we are, and then moving into those guys. This is something, man. This is one of the best, like, mixed culture beers I've tasted from us in a while. Like this.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'm actually really pleasantly surprised.
I think even separately, these two products, they are really cool. Well, obviously, Edna is really strong, acid, but there is a lot of complexity. But Pomona, this 2024 batch, not conditioned, but inoculate with Brettanomyces closely in Foeder, is really, really fruity. So with this base, you can do so much. And like we've seen with Mélange is the same. There is Pomona that's accentuate the fruitiness in Mélange. It's amazing beer for base, for blend, and this one is amazing beer for Edna for add complexity to a blend.
To like accentuate some things. It's like a punch and spice in there.
Yeah.
To like pucker
I
things.
think that was like the thought, if I'm not wrong, like a few years ago when like Pomona was traditionally like stone fruit, like peaches, apricots, nectarines. Yeah, and then, but it seemed like such a good base that we did raspberry rhubarb, raspberry blackberry. Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, it just maybe we'll do more in the future.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Time will tell.
Mhm.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool.
I like it.
Edmona.
That's one. Yeah, we should bring that out in the spring, I think. That would be good.
We could do it. Yeah. Bottles? Cans?
I think bottles.
I think bottles, yeah.
I don't know.
Just to
We'll
have
see.
why not? Yeah.
So we got coming up in 2025, maybe by the end of the next couple of weeks, we'll release Cherry Operas in bottles again for the first time in a few years.
First attempt at bottles in a
And,
while, yeah.
And maybe we can see how that goes and start cutting up some of these
Yeah.
fooders in the barrels or in the bottles.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of beer in this room. It's pretty amazing. Like how there's a lot of liquid kicking
What amount
around.
of combinations we can do?
Yeah,
there?
there's a lot of things we could do. Yeah.
Make 1,000 beers
Yeah.
with all the beers in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a question before we get into these super high gravity beers. We're all seeing the trend of non-alcoholic beers. We've just recently done one, and it was super successful from our perspective. Won an award, won a silver.
Yeah.
Silver at the Canada Beer Cup. That's Baby No Alc.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a great collaboration that we did with Baby No Money. But my question is, with the growing trend of drinking less, or people being more health conscious, and sort of that just being on the rise, how do breweries, navigate that and adapt to that? And what are we thinking about with regards to that growing trend?
Double IPAs, man.
I guess just having an open mind to
Yeah.
trying stuff.
Yeah.
Like I never thought that making a purple non-alc sour was something that would be in our future, but we did that and it turned out really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, since I've started here, we've always made a lot of low alcohol beers. Like 4.5% was low
On the low side.
Low for craft beer, definitely at the time.
Yeah.
We released Ultralight last year, or was it 2020? 2023? 2023, yeah.
Yeah. Like a year ago.
Yeah, like a 2.9% hazy IPA.
Which
And-
to me is like the best low alc, like 2.9%
Yeah.
beer I've ever had, by the way.
Yeah.
A little biased, but
No, I mean, and I agree. I think and I think that's where I would love to get to, is making more of that kind of stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of almost where I was trying to steer
Right.
the question,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that I think that there's an emerging low alc category that the non-alc stuff is interesting to us, but it's a completely different segment in the market, a different business model almost for the sales channels and things like that, grocery stores. But the low alc area is something that I'm super interested in, and we've made a couple really, really nice low alc beers. This isn't a segue into our high alc beers.
Yeah.
So that's our continued juxtaposition is we're going to drink a 8 or 9% beer here. But the low alc beers, we're starting to experiment a lot more with the 2 to 3% beers.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I think we don't really have anything on deck in that sense, though. We do have plans to do a ultralight lager, not ultralight in the sense of ultra IPA, but a lager even lower than 4 Winds Light.
I don't think we need to do more of them. I think we have a couple exceptional ones that need to find their way into people's hands more, like Ultralight and Zephyr, for instance. But there's
I agree.
There's so many occasions that come up where those beers work out. I think for me, how many times are you going to go out this month, being the holiday season, when you want to enjoy, beers with friends or family or whatever, and maybe not want to have too many, and a 3% beer is amazing for that.
Yeah, especially when they're to me, ultralight is delicious, but it's definitely feels like you're drinking a light beer.
Yeah.
Zephyr does not feel like you're drinking a light beer.
It feels like a 4 or 5% beer, no
it's
problem.
you don't even think about it. You're this is fucking delicious. You
Yeah.
don't even think about alcohol percentage or anything. But
Totally agree.
ultralight, which is exceptional in the class it's in,
Yeah.
you're it's a little thin. It's great though for what it is. But
Yeah.
Zephyr is just wow, this is great.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm really happy with
But
that beer. We're talking about Zephyr, which is a 3.2% Czech light lager.
Yeah.
Czech style light lager.
yeah, 8 degree Czech
Yeah.
lager.
Available at the Beach House only.
Exclusive.
Exclusive.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's a beer that, in theory, was going to be good, and then we made it, and we're this is better than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It was, first batch and second batch, but first batch we were it's I think our two Czech Pilsner at Beach House were beyond expectation for the first batch. So it tastes better than anticipated for a first batch. Archetype and Zephyr are probably my favorite beer of the year.
Zephyr.
Archetype or Zephyr?
I think both.
Both, yeah.
You
I
gotta
can
pick
choose
one.
between.
Yeah.
If I have to choose one, I will choose. I say that today, but tomorrow I'd say the opposite. But I choose today Zephyr, and tomorrow Archetype.
Nice.
I would choose Zephyr because I can drink more than one. Even Archetype, I can drink a couple of them, but Zephyr is really the light aspect can emphasize drinkability.
Yeah.
Without even realizing, I can drink maybe 2 or 3 pints of Zephyr.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like you guys don't spend as much time at the beach house as Adam and I, on hours and off hours. And like if I'm there with the family and I want to have a couple beers, I'm usually drinking like 3 Zephyr, and that equates to like 1 beer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like 3.
The satisfaction is so high.
It's incredible, and that's why I think that it's it will be an emerging segment of the market. I think it's a little early, but people are very interested in non-elk. But I think
I went a little hard there.
I think that
Well, I give Jules a little bit of his favorite beer.
nice.
Or Brent.
Well, Brent needs some.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we work on that. Like
Yeah.
our capacity at Beach House for Zephyr has a cap.
Yeah.
But we can go bigger. We can maybe find a way to make it here if we have
Yeah.
the demand.
Exactly. I think that's kind of that was the original part of the original business plan, was that we would make small batch beers, experimental beers, and if they became super, super good or super popular, then we would scale them up here.
Yeah.
So now our challenge is how do we
Execute that.
How do we execute that? How do we bring those beers here? How do we market them from, our River Road location? Yeah.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
Something to work on.
It's really interesting because in that aspect, the technology we're using to produce wort are completely different for both locations.
Yeah.
So let's say that right now we found like something amazing with Zephyr. It will be difficult to reproduce that result at River Road
I know.
because of the technology used. It's not the same equipment.
Totally different. I agree with that.
And I'm sure we will figure it out, or if we invest in resources in similar equipment.
Yeah.
But that's actually super interesting to see the two brewery with different technology for producing a wort and achieving really good result separately.
That's the challenge. Yeah.
But just this transition, like from Beach House to here, for some beer style, especially the Czech style, it's gonna be it's a work in progress.
Yep.
I think.
I agree.
I was wondering, like, is there anything that would be the other way around? Like that you could make here that you couldn't make there?
It's a good question, and I'm going to use that opportunity to go to the bathroom.
My
I
instinct
don't
says
think
no.
so.
But
Yeah. I mean,
like a beer that like you wouldn't want to like damage the brew system with, maybe.
oh, good question. The thing, I actually was surprised at how challenging it is to do high gravity beers, like Rainshadow. Like I when we designed the brew house, I assumed we'd be able to get like a full turn, 15 hectoliters out of like an 18 to 20 Plato beer, but we can't.
Yeah.
We can't do that here either.
Yeah.
But we find ways around it. So I don't know. I think this brewery was kind of off the shelf design when we purchased it from Specific in 2012. I wish I had like more time or more like insight to like talk about what we wanted to do as a brewery. I was like, yeah, we're probably going to be making like 12 on average 12 Plato beer, and that just wasn't the case. Like IPA and Saison were the beers right away, and they're both 16 Plato.
Yeah.
So we were undersized from day one.
I guess you couldn't make 10,000 liters of beer in a day and a half at the beach house.
Definitely not.
Which is the
Yeah,
difference.
that's it.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
difference.
The scale is the downside. Yeah. Like the brewery, like you can do it. You can do 2 turns in a day there,
Yeah.
but it's just 1 turn here.
Yeah.
I actually found one challenging thing this way. It's not in the wort production, but it's in fermentation. So at River Road, we're using like diastaticus yeast for most of our. We call it trois yeast. So it's like a Brettanomyces, but it's not anymore Brettanomyces. It's a complex story. But basically it's a diastaticus yeast, and we're using that a lot in our product. And also we have like mixed culture sour, Foeder beer, so we're using a lot of wild. At Beach House, it will be. We don't have the equipment to take care of. We don't have a steam generator. We don't have the equipment to handle super well this kind of microbes, this kind of yeast, and if we were doing it, it might happen. We're increasing our chance of cross contamination, so over carbing, over attenuating our regular beer. So that's why right now we are not introducing bread or not too much diastaticus yeast at Beach House. So there is some,
Yes.
2 differences in
Yeah.
our the 2 facilities, and together they are.
Yeah. Cool. The cool thing that I thought about, I was just telling someone yesterday. I was like, "Oh, you have a regular here that has been a friend of mine for years since we've been here. Like, oh, have you been down to Beach House to try this beer or that beer?" And I was there like 2 months ago, and I haven't had a chance to get back. I'm like, "We got 15 beers down there." It's like, you love coming here and seeing a new beer. It's like, go down there. There's 15 new Four Winds beers, and like it's Beach House, but it's Four Winds.
It's
And
Four Winds.
if you know what Four Winds beers taste like, there's going to be a huge amount of what you're looking for
Yeah.
down there, like a candy store,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
That's
is
true.
really cool.
It's very cool.
And it's like pretty exclusive. Like in the new year, we want to do a little bit more wholesale, open it up, get some markets,
Yeah.
get some beer to market. But for now, it's like mostly in-house.
It's all in house. Yeah.
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 Gloomless.
Gloomless.
Yeah.
It's a beauty. I like it.
It's a different smell than any beer we've had so far.
Yeah, it doesn't smell. It does. Yeah, it doesn't. That's a good point. You just said if you like how Four Winds beers taste or whatever, you like Four. This doesn't taste like a Four Winds beer to me very much. It's different.
Yeah.
What is
That's
that?
a good
What's
point,
that?
actually. Just the combination of hops, I guess. Jules' response when I asked him what he thought about this beer, he's like, "I'm bored."
We've worked a lot with this profile recently.
Yeah. So Citra and Eclipse, Superdelic is like monocle 2, but together, it's not like something we've ever done in that trio, but it's creating like a pretty cool aromatic. And yeah, I guess we haven't really had a. We've done the Vexillum in the past, but that was very classic, like heavy Centennial Mosaic beer. This is like kind of gassy, in a good way, and like tropical, spicy. It's cool.
Yeah, something about this just works well for me at least. Like I think I was saying earlier, like maybe it was before we were recording this. I really like Sunbreak a lot. That we've done a couple times, and this is kind of like that, but it's like amped up a little bit. Yeah. And yeah, maybe I could drink that more often, but this I think is like the best version so far of that profile to me. And yeah, I really, every time I've had a can or a little bit of in a glass, I really enjoy it.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
What about the reception of the customers? Do they like it? Did you hear feedback so far?
I haven't heard a lot of feedback yet, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really new release.
It's pretty early. So, I mean, the only thing I know is that it's selling very well. So we'll be out of it by the end of next week. And when did we start selling it?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? So
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks to sell a full batch is really good for us these days. So I think from that metric, super successful. But I haven't actually heard any like specific feedback. I think people are liking it though.
Yeah.
And I think people are interested in higher gravity beer at this time of year, or higher gravity IPAs.
Stressful time of year.
Yeah.
That was the idea. That was kind of the idea with the name, I guess, was like November is pretty gloomy.
So true.
So it's maybe
I remember that.
I
I remember that being like one name that I kind of fought back on. I was like, I don't know. Like I understand what you're saying, but it still has the word gloom in it.
Yeah.
Right? But gloom, I'm happy with it now, and I understand the concept. But that's funny. We have our like email threads back and forth, naming beers and coming up with ideas, and sometimes it's like a straightforward like that makes perfect sense, and sometimes it's a battle that we're all just like, I don't know, I like this or I like this.
It's way harder than I thought.
Naming beers.
Yeah.
I think you're really good at that.
Yeah, Jared is good at that.
Really good.
Yeah.
I think like it comes pretty naturally, but it's like just for me. So I don't know if like it works for whatever I think of works for everybody. But
I know. Isn't it funny when you come up with a name that you think is so good, and then like nobody else thinks is good?
Yeah.
You're like, am I not good? It's like an ego blow, right?
Yeah.
That's how I felt when I had my company. I named so many beers. With, to me, really cool concept, but the only feedback I had on my names for the beer were, it's not, we don't know what does it mean. It doesn't reach anyone. The sell team were not selling me, like, it's just so confusing for everyone.
Yeah.
So I stopped working on names at that moment because I realized that sometimes I have something in my mind and it's not reaching everyone. Basically,
it's
I'm
not
not
accessible.
understood. Yeah. I'm just the only one who likes something, so I'm
but
too
it's
weird, too specific.
It's also interesting how important a name is, I think, because it's what people see, right? It's like what they first see and what they gravitate to. I think what our biggest selling SKU, and it might be surprising to people, is featherweight. Our featherweight IPA, dominates, sells so much, and I think it's because of how clear the message is. You know exactly what you're getting when you see featherweight IPA.
Yeah.
People that want something bitter and flavorful and hop forward, but light and not overly aggressive. And that's exactly what you're getting. Yeah.
Second most tough cold, third most nectarous. Those are both really good names.
Yeah.
And tell you a lot about what's in the can and keg. And
Yeah. And Four Winds Light's probably on the rise.
Yeah, definitely.
Just as a light lager, but
I have something interesting to add on Nectarous name. I remember in 2015, maybe. I think in 2015, I didn't know you. I was here to visit BC, my family-in-law, and I saw Nectarous bottle. I remember now Nectarous, and I was sure. I was sure that it had nectarine like the
the fruit. Yeah.
And so this name.
So we tricked you.
Yeah, you tricked me. And I realized later that I think I've seen a nectarine version. Did you guys did something like that? No,
I don't think so.
It could be a fun idea.
Yeah. Nectarous.
Nectarous.
Now finally with nectarines.
Finally with nectarines. Yeah, nice. That's a
Finally
good
with
call.
Yeah. Anyway.
So nectarous, the word itself, is just a synonym for delicious.
Good.
Or food of the gods.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Food of the gods. Yeah.
Yeah. And Pomona is the same sort of thing. Pomona is the Greek god of fruit. Orchards.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But it's interesting. Yeah, names and where they come from, and we really early on were deep into Greek
mythology
words and mythology and wind and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because there's Greek gods of the wind, and we're
Yeah.
four winds, and so that sort of worked with us.
It works, and now we're kind of trying to get out of there because it's a little too esoteric and not so broad,
Yeah.
simplifying,
Yeah.
but also still using it as
Yeah.
we just drank. What am I thinking?
Gloomless.
No, yeah, the Greek
Gloomless, the Greek god of
sunshine.
gloom.
I don't know. What
God
did we have earlier that was in that realm? I don't know. Oh, we're talking about.
The Pomona Edna thing?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Which doesn't have a.
Oh, I guess the no. I was thinking actually about the oyster stout
Oh, Nostos.
that we brewed at Beach House, Nostos,
Yeah.
which is a Greek word,
Yeah.
That's a
but
good
it,
name.
but it's not a Greek god. It's. Do you guys know the story? Nostos.
No.
You know?
It means night or no?
Maybe. But the definition of it's like it's the hero returning from war by the sea. It's like
By the sea.
by the sea. So
Via the sea?
maybe. Actually,
It's probably what it is.
maybe the homes by the sea and they were inland. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I can't remember. I heard it in a story. I can't remember Nostos where it came from, and then I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's rad.
Yeah.
And oyster stout, suitable. The brewer is
Absolutely.
Greek. Suitable.
yeah, that's actually
All right, well, let's
Yeah.
crush another really strong beer while
Okay.
we're at it.
All right. So
Actually, speaking about names, I love this name. I don't know how there isn't another one, but maybe there is.
there is a brewery in Denver has a Kolsch called Rainshadow.
Rainshadow is a beautiful name for a beer.
Cerebral. Sorry, girls.
What the hell is a Rainshadow? I just like the sound of it.
Shadow that's produced by a rain cloud. There's actually a thing that I read about and that I saw it in a documentary that should be another beer name that we use soon. Wind Shadow. It's
Wind
a real
Shadow?
thing. It's where an area can be like if it's windy and you like hide behind a tree or a building and there's no wind, that's like a wind shadow.
Oh,
And
crazy.
It can happen on the sea where you're like sailing near the coast and you like come into the shadow of like a
Of an
mountain,
island or something?
an island,
Yeah.
and like it could you just lose your wind.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a wind shadow.
Nice.
what kind
Speaking
of
of
beer could be wind shadow? Knowing this one is a deeper, hazy deeper.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is my favorite double IPA we've ever made.
Yeah, it's
We
just
made
like
two, no? No, three. With Vexillium.
We've made a lot of
Ah, really?
probably over
Double?
the years. Well,
Yeah.
Double Jux, Vexillum,
Fog
Ah,
Zombie.
yeah.
Weighty.
Weighty's a
we-
triple.
Triple? Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Fog Zombie.
Fog Zombie. We've done a few, but yeah,
Done a few,
I think
maybe.
this is really nice.
It's my favorite.
It's pretty good.
There's something really unique about the aroma on this one.
It's just like very well proportioned. Like I don't know the way that it's like balanced, but
Yeah, yeah.
So we had to look it up because we forgot one hop in this trio. So the three hop we used for dry hopping is Nectaron, Eldorado, and Eclipse.
Oh, that's
Eclipse
pretty interesting.
is our friend lately, but I think we are tired of
Nectaron.
it.
Nectaron's been our friend too.
Yeah, Nectaron didn't work super well. I think we did a monocol. I don't know if everyone tried, but we did two monocol, and the first one was monocol Nectaron, and I personally really liked it.
the first one I like the most.
I prefer the first one too, but I think it was missing something, like a layer of complexity for hops.
Yeah,
It was one dimension.
that's the sacrifice when you use
Do
one hop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Super interesting because you can see exactly one hop, the contribution of one hop in a final product,
Yeah,
but also missing
yeah.
a little bit here and there.
It was funny, like I don't know what you think, Brent, but like of the monocles, like you guys said, like clearly the first one was like the better one for me. I don't know what you thought, but
I thought so. Yeah.
I talked to like three
Quite
of
a
our
few people thought
other
that.
coworkers. It was
Yeah.
like the other way around, like completely, like
Yeah.
not even close. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't drink the first one, but like thought the second one was
interesting.
awesome. Yeah,
I heard that
I didn't
a lot,
hear
especially in the
Yeah.
TR, in the tasting room.
yeah. It's like proves the concept of the single hop thing. I think.
Yeah, I think that's
Because it's
interesting.
It is
Yeah.
cool. It's like very educational and like gives you
Yeah.
some perspective from a consumer standpoint.
Yeah.
Hard to do though, like
Yeah.
in volume. It's like I don't want a Mount Hood
Yeah.
single hop IPA.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of want to try it.
Now you're
but,
saying it.
Yeah.
but there's 380 hops you can choose from,
Yeah.
so are you gonna choose the right ones? Cool to explore new hops that we've never used, and that's
Yeah.
why we did Nectaron and Superdelic.
Yeah.
It gives
So-
you a lot of information too. I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. And so Rainshadow. This one was such a hit at Beach House. This is the second batch.
Yeah.
We have it on dock for another batch, which I think will be. Yeah, it's like the most it's smaller batch than others because the double IPA we can only get like 14 or 13x out of it, but I think it'll be the most brewed outside of the lagers that we can do double batches of.
Nice.
It's almost popular, not in terms of volume, but in terms of reception at Beach House, Rainshadow. I look at it, I look
Oh.
at the reception from
Untapped and
Untapped
yeah,
and,
it is.
yeah, people are really stoked about it. So it's cool, and I understand why. Like there is something that works
Yeah.
together.
It's good. It's just balanced.
Yeah.
Not my type of beer. I'm already bored, but there is something there is a match between the
Amen.
hops.
You're not from the
sweetness.
West Coast, bro.
Just kidding. I'm not. Actually, almost on my West Coast.
You're not from the land of hops.
I'm not. No.
A lot of grapes.
Shade of grapes.
Yeah. No, it's nice. I like it a lot. Okay. I have a final question for everybody. This could make us go off into very tangents, but who is Four Winds?
Who is Four Winds?
Or what is Four Winds?
Yeah. Who?
I might need a second to think about that. Does anybody have an immediate answer?
What is Four Winds, Brett? This is obviously a surprise question because nobody's
Four
prepared.
Winds is an exploration of expression in history of beer,
Mm-hmm.
and more recently, an exploration of hospitality and joy and food.
Oh,
But
yeah.
also, it's like joy, pleasure, and relaxation.
I like it. Nice. Yeah, it wasn't who, it was meant to be what. Sorry. Jules, what is Four Winds to you?
Four Winds is a service to the society of gustative experience, food, drinks, human experience, so service. And when with people we work, we are really actually there's nothing fancy about it. We are just humans between talking to each other. Sometimes we forget about the basic stuff, but I think it's important to remember. Like
Yeah.
it's okay. We are just a brewery,
Yeah.
and we can handle communication. So I think that's Four Winds. Four Winds is a gustative experience. So in terms of beer, experimentation, and food, and human experience in terms of service and communication and community.
Yeah, community. Yeah.
And I'm super stoked to be part of this ethically.
What's the word?
Ethically?
Ethically, yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah, well
I feel just. I don't know if you guys know, but I was training to be a fireman. When
I didn't
was-
know that.
Yeah. I was fireman when I was until my 20 years old, just before I left to Canada. And let me tell you, I'm much happier working in the beer industry and
You're saving lives in a different way.
Yeah, it's controversial, but let's say I'm way happier to be part of something that is really close to my value, and I'm so happy to be working with you, even if it's sometimes difficult. Like this year has been difficult for you guys, for us. And also super cool, and that's what I want to emphasize on. It was a pleasure to work with you, and I felt supported as human.
Awesome.
Well,
Amazing. Thank you. Cheers.
With good and bad.
Cheers to that.
Cheers, guys.
That's life. Good and bad. Cheers.
Long answer, I'm so sorry, guys. What about you?
I'm not.
who is Four Winds?
Who is forward? Tell us now.
I'm not even prepared to answer this. I just thought about it during the recording here. But Four Winds to me is much like you said, and Brent. But it is, when you said it's a service, I think that's absolutely right. It's a product and it's a service. I mean, it's a product, but in a way to contribute to the community, right? Like for me, it's always been about how can we contribute something meaningful to the community, and that's what Four Winds is to me. It's how can we use our resources and our collective strength and our abilities and all of our varied skill sets to contribute something awesome, and that's through product and service and hospitality. But that's what Four Winds is to me. It's to make a difference and to it's really about people, connection, and community. Yeah. What about you, Jared?
I think I in some ways agree with everybody. I think it's whatever it needs to be, and that's
nice.
Like whether it's like a customer, an employee, an owner. I think like in its simplest form, like there's like what I've been super proud of, and what I always tell people if they're like, what kind of beer do you make? It's kind of like a bit of everything, which like a lot of breweries can say. A lot of them do it really well, and I think we can include ourselves in that. Is like we make lots of different kinds of beer. And I think there's something for everybody, even people who are just like curious in getting into beer. But I also think I think that's like the theme of the year probably is like this. The River Road location's been around for 11, almost 12 years now.
Yeah.
And now a new place has opened to reach another section of the community, and another section of the community to go there as customers, but also to work there as employees. And I think this was always a place I enjoyed coming as a customer, and I've been working here for almost 8 years now, and it's been different every year in a good way. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Nothing ever stays the same.
Cheers to
around
that.
here.
No. Well, that's kind of Four Winds. That's the sort of the essence, and the name comes from, Brent really gravitated to that philosophy that we're taking inspiration from the Four Winds, and we're really limitless and in our potential and where we can go with our beer. And so that speaks to what you're saying, is that we produce beers that can be accessible to everybody, and at some point in your life you'll probably come across a Four Winds beer that you like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we can kind of create all kinds of beers. It reminds me of one of my favorite musicians is Ben Harper, and he said one time that because he's known for doing many, many different styles. And he said one time, and I just sort of already said it, but at some point in your life, you're going to like a Ben Harper song. And I think that's Four Winds to me.
Yeah.
We make all kinds of beers, and we make something for everybody, and it's something that we're very passionate about. And cheers to you all.
Yeah.
At some point in
That's
your
me.
life, you're gonna like a Four Winds beer.
Yeah, I hope so.
Cheers to that.
Guys.
How many? Brett, what the? Hey, there's beer right here.
Oh, nice. I need to join us a little bit.
Get in there, man. Ben Harper's singing a song in the back of my head right now too.
Nice.
Cheers. All right, guys, that was a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining us.
Cheers to 2024. We're looking forward to 2025. Lots of great things in store. All right, guys, awesome. That was a lot of fun. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Good night.